Recently, I received an email from a Maria archives. The email listed some instructions for me.
This is an automated message. Do not reply. Scheduled delivery date, June 9th, 2026. The embargo on archive set
Maria
has been lifted. You have been designated as a public observer for controlled release. Present the materials as provided. Do not alter the order. Subject
Maria Collins
participated in a series of environmental boundary experiments. The attached files are recorded results. Some continuity errors are expected. Begin with folder 1. Further instructions will follow once viewing begins.
Initially, I was unsure what to make of the email. Was this sent to me by mistake? I mean, there were already some errors, like the email being sent 4 months ahead of schedule. Regardless, I decided to take a look at the folder. The folder contains 5 videos, and upon viewing the first one, footage 1, we're presented with what seems to be an ordinary Minecraft world. The video starts off with a player named Tozers explaining how they made this Minecraft world with their friend, and that their friend said that they should record themselves playing on the server. Now, based off of the email, I'm forced to assume that this player is Maria Collins. Now, as to what her significance is yet to be decided. For now, just watch as she shows off her house as well as her own little bedroom. And then another player joins the server. Maria is quick to explain that this is her friend and goes down to meet him at the pathway between their houses. Maria explains to Noah that she's doing her first recording on the server. Noah then responded with saying that he is also recording. So this got me thinking, why was it exactly that Maria was the only one whose documents were being archived? And furthermore, why was it being withheld at all? But to find out those answers, we must continue to watch Maria's perspective, where the conversation turns to something else. Maria asks Noah to share his recording with her after they're all done today, which Noah then says, not yet, we gotta do everything first. And weirdly enough, Maria simply acknowledges. Now what they could be referring to, we still have no idea of, but they wrap up their conversation with Noah saying that he was going to go get some glowstone, which he seems to do as he walks off into the nether portal, marking the last time that we surely see Noah from Maria's perspective. Maria, back inside the confines of her own home, goes AFK for a bit, leaving a message for Noah simply saying, "Mom's calling, I'll be right back." But as night turns to day, something strange happens. Maria is disconnected by something called player state. Could this be Noah messing with her somehow? It seems unlikely, but furthermore, the kick message she sees isn't normal. You see, typically when a player is removed from the server in Minecraft, the message shown is kicked by operator. But here it says player state, which doesn't exist. So why? Well, we're soon to find out as Maria logs back onto the server to see that Noah isn't back yet. And after prompting him to respond multiple times in the chat and still receiving no response, Maria scours the island, inevitably going to the top of the lighthouse to get a vantage point, but still when finding nothing, Maria makes a decision to go into the nether portal. And this is where footage 1 ends. But picking back up on footage 2, we're taken to what seems to be immediately after Maria's journey through the nether portal, as we can still hear the sound playing in the background, except where Maria is now doesn't seem to be the nether at all. No, it looks far different.
Noah? Where the hell am I? Noah, are you here? Noah, I'm getting it off. I'll be on tomorrow. My mom needs me, and this is freaking me out a little.
And this is where footage 2 ends. We're left not exactly sure what to think about what's going on in the world. Usually by this point we'd be given some clues at least, something to solve, to decipher in order to reach some sort of conclusion on what's exactly going on here. But as far as this footage goes, there's absolutely nothing. Now, the next video in the folder is a different story. The third video in the folder, titled Where Am I?, starts us back in the shoes of Maria as we watch her navigate her way. Wait. For less than a second on the far right corner, we're able to see what seems to be at first some sort of screen tear, but upon closer inspection, that's not what it is at all. You see, a screen tear usually limits itself to a certain section of the screen. However, this screen tear, as it first seemed to be, moves with Maria. So what are we looking at exactly? Some sort of glitch within the game itself? Or is it something more sinister than that? Maybe it's something watching our protagonist from beyond the darkness. Regardless, Maria doesn't seem to notice it and simply continues to ask Noah if he's on the server today, which after opening the tab list, he does seem to be. After once again receiving no response, Maria continues through the library for quite a while. That is until this happens. Complete fear takes over as Maria realizes that every sound that she makes, every footstep, every torch placed, is playing twice, which continues until Maria strays further and further into the library, as if she's being guided somewhere. Our protagonist then runs into the issue of running out of torches, as being blind in a place like this can be damning. Thankfully, they do have some wood and cobblestone on them to make a furnace and smelt charcoal, temporarily fixing their torch issue. Eventually, however, Maria yet again runs into the same problem, where she is then forced to move a single torch over and over. Suddenly, Maria seems to be in a completely new environment. No sign of the seemingly endless astral library anywhere in sight. In front of her are 3 doors. The left encrusted with skulks saying trust above it. The middle encased in chiseled bookshelves and empty lecterns with a sign saying love. And the last on the right being clad in golden blocks and blackstone saying greed. However, upon opening each of the doors, they have very different outcomes. The left and center door have portal blocks behind them. However, the greed door has nothing behind it. Now, as to why this is currently unknown. And our protagonist doesn't seem to have a much better idea either, which she exclaims in chat either to us or to Noah. But after taking a closer look at the bookshelves around the room, Maria finds something interesting. Maria finds a book, and not just any book, but the Book of Orpheus and Eurydice, an ancient Greek myth relating to love and sorrow. Maria seems to be familiar with the text, also correctly identifying it as a Greek myth. She exclaims that she doesn't know what it has to do with where the hell she's at, but she opens the book and retells their story. Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus was a musician whose songs could calm storms and move stone. He loved Eurydice. On their wedding day, Eurydice fled a threat and was bitten by a serpent, where she died. Orpheus refused to accept it. He descended into the underworld. Before Hades and Persephone, he played a song so mournful that even the dead fell silent. So they offered him a bargain. Eurydice may follow him out, but Orpheus must walk ahead, and he must not look back until they both reach the surface. Near the exit, he turned. For one moment, he saw her. Then Eurydice was pulled away into the darkness, where Orpheus was left alone. What Maria concludes from the story and its placement within the library is that Orpheus made his decision because he didn't trust Hades to fulfill his side of the bargain. So last second, he looked back.
I'm not even really sure how you could get greed out of that. So, do I go through the trust door?
And yet again, that's where the footage ends. It seems that Maria, after reading the story and making a conclusion about why Orpheus turned back, took one last look around the room and went through the door of trust. But this does still leave a couple of questions. Like, why was there no portal behind the door of greed? And was Noah in the same room as Maria at some point? Well, as far as the portal, I believe we got our answer with the last few frames of the video. As Maria goes through the portal, just at the very end, we hear a sound. This is the sound that plays whenever a portal block is broken, which makes it safe to conclude that the portal breaks after someone uses it. So who was it that used the greed portal? Was it Noah? And if so, is he going to the same place that Maria is? Well, in our next video, we may find the answers that we're looking for. The video starts out with Maria in yet another strange dimension, this time looking much more ominous than before, as Maria herself is quick to state.
This place is so creepy, dude.
She seems to be in some sort of infinite world consisting of large slabs of stone, with her only way to progress requiring her to sometimes jump incredibly large gaps, making the situation incredibly dangerous. All it would require is one slip up, and into the void she would go.
Well, that was close.
Maria continues to travel for a few more minutes, hopping from structure to structure, a few times just barely making the jump. And eventually, she comes across something strange. Maria looks up in awe at what appears to be a multi-branching staircase that leads to, well, we don't know. However, I expect that we'll soon find out, as without hesitation, Maria instantly starts building out towards the structure. Now, the exact reasoning as to why something like this could exist in this world to begin with is already lost to me. However, it's very clear that so far Maria has been somewhat led and directed here. Noah? For the very first time since getting lost in the nether portal, Noah's seen to type something into the chat, which Maria is quick to respond to, though yet again receiving no response herself. Now, this raises a couple of questions. Does this mean that Noah has been able to respond to Maria this entire time? If so, then why hasn't he? And if not, then what's been preventing him? Regardless, Maria continues to climb up the staircase, which doesn't exactly seem to be, well, flawlessly designed to say the least. It contorts in odd ways, only ever branching out or up, but rarely is it a complete staircase, causing Maria to have to build up and break blocks to even continue her journey upward. And furthermore, it only seems to get worse as she gets closer to the top, which after some time she eventually does do, as she's faced with this.
Noah? Is that you? With this video coming to an end, Maria is seemingly reunited back with Noah, but
only for a moment as he's seen leaving through a massive portal, almost as if he's trying to evade Maria. But why? What reason does Noah have to lead her all this way? Well, Maria's journey is soon to be at an end as we go into the final video in the drive. Starting out, we see Maria walking on some sort of path, with massive towers sprouting out to connect them all. They don't seem to be individually distinct, but... Wait, we aren't watching Maria? Then who? For some reason, we've switched to Noah's POV, but what's even stranger than that is that he's with Maria, and furthermore, they seem to be quite comfortable right now, almost as if they've been traveling together for some time now. Anyways, they continue their conversation with Maria questioning how long Noah has been here, and to that, Noah simply responds that he doesn't know, but it feels like it's been weeks, and to that, Maria says that it's only been a couple of days.
Are you sure? Yes, Noah. Okay.
Noah and Maria continued their journey forward, looking around in awe at the massive towering stone structures, path after path, bridge after bridge, and tower after tower, until...
Okay, I think we have to drop here. Just one level. Be careful. Hold on now. You stay here for a second.
Noah's been keeping notes on Maria this whole time? But how? He hasn't even been with her most of the time. None of this is really making sense so far. When did Maria meet back up with Noah? Why are they so friendly? And why is Noah taking notes of Maria? Noah then adds another entry to his journal, saying that the subject seems to be cooperative thus far, and I can only assume that he's referring to Maria.
Come on, Toes. Okay. So where did you go earlier anyways? What do you mean? After the library, remember? I followed you. That's not what happened. Maria, that's not what happened. How do you know my name?
And that's where the footage ends. This video opened up a lot of questions for us, so we're just gonna rapid fire go through all of them really quick. First off, as I had already questioned, why is it that Noah's taking notes of Maria? Is that how he found out her name? By stalking her? To be honest, I assumed that he already knew, but I guess not. I suppose that would take us back to the very beginning, where she stated that Noah was the one that said that she should start recording her POV, but she never elaborated how or why they started talking. Was this some sort of plan that that Noah had made in order to get to know Maria somehow for some malicious purpose? Maybe, maybe not, but what I do know is that Noah did leave something behind. You see, back when he was going through his notes on Maria, he left something. A code for whoever was supposed to watch this footage before me. You see, I'm assuming that because this footage was sent to me so early, it completely missed the vetting process, which explains why things like Noah's footage was still in the folder. Anyways, if we look back at the footage containing Noah's notes on Maria, we notice a clear pattern where each page is separated by 3 distinct parts. And if we take the first letter of each of those parts, we get this, which isn't anything by itself, but after deciphering it as if it was an alphabet cipher, this string of numbers comes out, which to me looks like an IP. And after trying it, it appears I was right. I had to move quick. I knew that if I was ever caught on the server, I would be banned and there would be no way of me ever finding out what happened to Maria or Noah for that matter. So the first thing that I did was I checked their houses. And after looking at Noah's, it appeared to be completely empty, which was weird because based off of Maria's house, they've been playing on the server for some time now. Anyways, I continued to look around Maria's house for a few minutes. I checked her room and the balcony, which appeared the same as it did in Maria's footage, except on the first floor, I found something interesting. Both of the back doors and what I can only assume to be an attempt at a basement door were all cut in half. As to why this is, I don't know, but it only got worse as I went outside, where a chest was sitting and inside of it, a compass, and not just any compass, but a lodestone compass, which was pointing directly away from the house. So I followed it, and eventually it led me to a village. I looked around the village for a few minutes, and looked, but nothing. I couldn't find anything. I mean, I didn't even know who left the compass in the chest. Maybe it was just supposed to lead to the village. Regardless, I did want to find the actual lodestone that it pointed to, so I kept looking. And after a few more minutes, the rapid change in the compass's direction led me to believe that the lodestone was probably underground. So I changed my focus from the houses to nearby hills and cave entrances. And I noticed that this hill in particular had the dirt sort of unnaturally placed against the wall. So of course, I tried to break it to see if there was anything behind it, and there was. The entrance opened up into what appeared to be a huge library, but as I take a look around, while it looks beautiful and definitely unique for sure, most of it seemed a little empty or cleared out. Well, everything except for a lectern right in the middle of the library. The lectern contained a book that said Maria Archives on it, with a new drive link. Upon opening the drive, we're faced with just one file, a single PDF, called the Parhelion Dossier, and upon opening it, what the hell? Infinite cryptid text. Parhelion Internal Dossier. Level 3, eyes only. What we were looking at is a massive document, bringing light to whatever this organization was and its intentions with Maria. I mean, she had an entire page dedicated with her. Page after page after page of information, tests, and trials. But right now, we're going to tackle the important parts of this document. So obviously, we weren't supposed to have access to this, and they made it pretty easy for us, giving us a full table of contents. And right off the bat, on the first page, it talks about astral domains. A subject declares an interpretation, often aloud, and the domain classifies the subject accordingly. And I believe we can see this through the first major puzzle with Orpheus and Eurydice, where Maria chose the door of truth based off of her interpretation of the story, which it even talks about here, Case Maria. Subject Maria Collins, handle toaster, which they're actually wrong about. Subject Maria Collins entered Phase 4 through a portal misroute and encountered an archive chamber, presenting a tri-door classification event, referencing the 3 doors. Liaison, it's known as 0, which we'll get to in a minute, was used as a social stabilizer and later removed to induce threshold selection. Subject proceeded into deeper archive space, continuing degradation increased. Subject is currently assessed as integrated. Now, on this next part, they talk about the organization itself. Parhelion. And right here, it talks about their goals, where it says, internally, Parhelion focuses on 3 capabilities: threshold engineering, locating and stabilizing exits that do not route to expected destinations; the continuity of science, measuring how cognition persists when the world contradicts itself. So essentially, comprehending things that just shouldn't make sense. And record systems, capturing movement as artifacts the environment can replay. So I guess all those libraries were supposed to be different records of the dimensions. Maybe that's where Maria was initially, in that library dimension. Now, moving on, it talks about the trials themselves. Program Brief Astral Navigation Trials, or ANT. ANT is designed to answer a practical question: can a human navigate astral space without losing continuity? The second question is more important: what kinds of people remain intact and why? And I guess Maria was their first, or at least one of their testing experiments. And then it talks about all these different phases where it just essentially just gets worse and worse, until essentially at phase 6, where I was supposed to step in, but I came in early. Now we get into the interesting stuff. Recruitment and liaison protocols. Recruitment model. Parhelion recruits through ordinary contact chains, friend-to-friend introductions, collaboration offers, recording projects, and curiosity-driven invitations. So it seems pretty limited and hand-selected as to who can be a liaison, which, as referred to earlier, is what Noah was, and if we keep looking, it talks about what they exactly do. So liaison doctrine. Liaisons are trained to be normal. They must not appear sinister, authoritative, or over-informed. Primary duties: maintain rapport and keep the subject recording. Anchor the subject in casual conversation during drift, which I believe drift is the time in between the astral planes. Introduce thresholds as accidents, not goals, and disappear at a controllable point to induce urgency without explicit threat. So this is what Noah did to actually get Maria into the portal. Now it talks about Maria herself. It talks about all her personal information: her name, her handle, which is actually incorrect here. I wonder how they messed that up. I'm not entirely sure. And her sign liaison, it's Noah. Now, it's clear from all this that everything involving Maria here was incredibly malicious. Whether it was done for some sort of science experiment or simply just for the curiosity of the organization itself, it's clear that the damage to Maria is now irreversible, and she's probably stuck wandering the astral planes themselves, wandering forever. If you guys want to check out the PDF, it will be linked in the description. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 100K before February ends, so yeah, it would help me out a lot. Anyways, we will have more ARGs coming out soon, but for now, go ahead and check this one out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.